y'all. Welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. I was looking for my bottle of water. I don't know where I set it down. But hey y'all, hey. I figured we could chat today because I'm sure uh I'm not the only one who I'm sure there are other black women who've gone through partner dance scene, especially salsa and other Latin dances. And it's just, I don't know, I'm just reflecting because I went out like a couple of days ago and things are really different for me than when I first started out dancing. So I'm going to start off with kind of chronicling my ups and downs through oh, you messaged me on Instagram? Okay. I'll check my let me check it now cuz it probably went to my other box if we're not connected yet. I'll check my Instagram. But yeah, okay, yeah, I see you right here. Yeah, I'll kind of chronicle my ups and downs. Okay, so I started off salsa in a very interesting way. I started off doing salsa with from an African American woman. That's how I started out. And so with that, there were, I was in the midst of a lot of African Americans and also Black Caribbeans um, from Francophone and mostly Anglophone countries. And we would kind of go out in groups in the city. And sometimes we would have good experiences and sometimes we would have bad experiences. I do distinctly remember this was early 2000s. I do distinctly remember being in situations where nobody would dance with us. Nobody would dance with us. So we would dance with each other. And this was just, I guess that was just how things started out. That was my introduction to things. And to some extent, there is a lot of like, I don't know, like elitism or like kind of like if you're a beginner dancer, people not wanting to dance with you. So I think there's a little bit of that. Partner dance, the salsa scene has its own etiquette, it has its own rules, it has its own culture of how they operate. And especially when you're dealing with like gringos versus regular Latino parties versus depending on what country you go to. But if you're just speaking about generalized, Americanized gringo culture, it kind of has its own etiquette. And they're usually dance studios and dance troupes and stuff like that that sort of feed into the sort of late night scene where you have gringos and Latinos mixed together dancing and whatnot. So, um, having a group of people that you already know helps because you're not just standing around waiting on people to dance with you. So you kind of always have somebody to dance with. But at the same time, we still ran up against this situation where you don't get asked to dance. And I noticed very early on that it could be the most mediocre of white girl. And it's like guys are clamoring to even teach her how to dance, even if she doesn't know anything about salsa, or she's a bad dancer. They don't care. Just white isn't like they're just happy to be with somebody white. This is especially for black males. This includes indigenous and mestizo Latinos as well, because they don't always have access to white women, contrary to popular belief. A lot of mestizo, darker, darker Latino guys, they do not have access to lily white, like uber white women. So this is their chance, right? This is their chance to touch white skin, to smell white hair, to see those stringy hair, slinging across the dance floor. This is their chance. So they don't want to miss out on that. So I noticed that. And then I was in and out. And then I remember taking this trip, a college trip, to this was still early 2000s, taking this college trip to a big city. And there's a famous salsa club, huge, ginormous, like 2 floors and everything, huge salsa club. And I went there. None of the people who were traveling with me, they all wanted to go to like a pub and drink. And I really wasn't into that. I really wanted to go out dancing. So I went to this club by myself. And it was so bad. Like nobody would dance with me. And I just cried. And then like this guy saw me crying. It was like I think it was a black guy. And he kind of gave me like a pity dance, but it was just kind of like, eh. I probably stayed for a little bit longer and then I went home. And so I kind of got back into the salsa scene a little bit. You always just run into that racism that and the colorism over and over and over again. And one thing that I noticed was that the black men who, especially like specifically speaking about African American men who are drawn into salsa, they're coming into it to get access to white Latinas and white women and non-black women. Like that's the primary reason why they're there. Like that's the primary reason. They get to touch white skin, they get to be around white women, they get to be close to white women, and that's what they're trying to do. So those are the guys who they're not really looking, at black women like that. And oftentimes they will not ask you to dance. If they do ask you to dance, sometimes it's like nobody else to dance with, or after you've proven that you can dance, or towards the end of the night or whatever, and they're like, oh well, I guess I'll dance with you, but you clearly know that you are not their first choice at all. So I moved to another city where I got extremely spoiled as far as the dance scene is concerned. I had a lot of friends from South America and the Caribbean who were Afro Latino. And so I would kind of run with them, and I always had somebody to dance with because usually we would go out in groups. I mean, I did that a lot. I went out with like a group of guys, and that's also how I kind of start getting spoiled, like away from African American men, because like even my Afro Latino guy friends, I never paid for anything in my life. I never paid for anything. They would take care of everything. They would like even if any of my homegirls came in from like out of state to visit me, they would pick me up, pick me and my friends up, take us out, buy us dinner, take us dancing, pay for all the drinks, pay for us to get in. I never spent any money with these guys ever. And so that's kind of how I started moving away from African American guys because, you know, I don't know, you just get spoiled, when you get treated good by a different group of men. Now, I'm not saying like African men, Caribbean men, and Latino men have their own problems, but usually paying is not a problem. They have their own issues. But you don't, yeah, sometimes you don't really get that with like African American guys. They're kind of cheap, and they kind of feel like you need to pay your own way or else they're sleeping with you, but they're not going to just pay for you because you're with them. But these guy friends, that's what they did. And we would go out, or like, even if we didn't necessarily go out in a club, like I knew these guys who were promoters. They had a salsa party that was like every week. And so even if I didn't go with guys, I could either go by myself, or I could go with girlfriends, or I could meet girlfriends there. There's people there I already know. I always have somebody to dance with all the time. So it's never an issue. And there were even some like indigenous, mestizo type of Latino guys who would kind of come in and out of the mix, or mulattoes and mixed Latino guys, some African Americans. Now, I did still notice, even in that sense, the African American guys still prefer to gravitate towards the white girls and the white Latinas. So that was still a thing. Or the mixed mulatta Latinas. Still, that was a thing. It wasn't a lot of African American guys though. So, and I guess I really wasn't like too much paying attention to them because I really just didn't care because I always had somebody to dance with. So I left that city and I went back to my home state, and I was just like, I tried to dance, and it was just, first of all, I'm kind of tall with even without heels. So there's a whole like demographic of like Central Americans and Mexicans, and I'm like, I'm pretty much towering over a lot of these guys. Now, now I'm a lot less sensitive to that because I really don't, the height is, I'm not height sensitive as I used to be, but before I was a little bit more height sensitive. But in also, they can't really dance, in my opinion. In my opinion, a lot of times those guys from those regions, they do give it their best effort, but really they cannot dance. And in fact, I don't know if y'all remember me telling y'all about that, the Latino guy I was talking to recently from Central America, that it ain't gonna work out between me and him. But I just assumed he could dance. And so like 2 weeks ago when we went out, we went to dinner and then we went out dancing. This man cannot dance. He can't. He can't dance, and he doesn't know that he can't dance. He actually thinks that he can dance. I was just like, what? I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm dancing salsa. I'm like, to what beat? What's happening? I'm just like, how do you know that you can't dance? So anyway, so yeah, dealing with Central American and like Mexican guys, they don't really, most of them can't really dance salsa all that great. And and again, it was just a situation where, you go out and nobody really wants to dance with you. So I kind of took a break. I was just over it. It's just really disgusting because for me at that time, this is like my late 20s, I just was like, I just don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm going to a place where I'm not going to be appreciated. People are not going to value me. I want to have a good time, but I'm not having a good time. The few people that are here that want to dance, they can't really dance. And in this particular region, you do have some like Puerto Rican, Cubans, um, not so many Dominicans, just a little bit, but like the Puerto Ricans here, I've noticed. I mean, I even just, okay, I need to hold this thought because there's like this mixed Puerto Rican guy who like he hates blackness. He hates blackness. He's only attracted to white women, even though he's mixed mulatto, but he's definitely leaning towards the black spectrum. Because when you start dealing with Latin America, it gets really dicey and it gets really hard. It gets harder to explain race when you're dealing with a lot of those regions because it's like so many different, you know, variations and whatnot. But he was leaning towards black, even though he's like you could mistake him for a black guy, but he's Puerto Rican mulatto kind of guy. I need to hold that thought. So those kind of guys, even like the Puerto Ricans here, they don't really gravitate towards blackness. They gravitate far, far, far away. And I think part of the reason why they go so far away from black is because they don't want to be, they're offended. People assume they're African American. Like if they're black Puerto Rican or black leaning, or they look like they could be light skinned black African Americans, or biracial African American, half African American, they don't want to be, they're okay. So if you're somewhere like New York or Miami, um, you're probably a little bit more fine. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican, because people are they're so familiar with it. It's not a big deal. But here, it's more like black, white, Mexican, and they're like, where do I fit in? I want to make sure people know I'm Latino, so they really don't want to be associated at all. So those guys don't ask you to dance. They're only interested in whitest. They're interested in women who are even lighter than their own women. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely not interested in black. So then it's like I'm in and I'm out and I'm in and I'm out of the dance scene for years, but I'm mostly out. I'm mostly sitting out for like years and years. So maybe around 2017, fast forward, 2017, there was this dance group that was formed by this African American guy who he dances with a black Latina who she's like a super dark skinned, beautiful black woman. He's a light skinned African American guy. And they start this African dance studio. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's so great because this group reminds me of the original group that I started dancing with in the first place, which was founded by an African American woman. So I started, I eventually made it out to start going to classes with them and here and there, and then doing socials. And that was cool because I was able to kind of get a rapport going with different people. And it kind of was like the other situation when I was in the other city, in my original city where I learned salsa to begin with. Now, for the longest, when I was in the city with the Afrolatinos, I wasn't really taking any classes. So all my salsa is pretty much just like, parties and clubbing and stuff like that. That's, not like a formalized situation at all. Most of my dance experience has been, at least for salsa, has been parties and clubs. All right. So when I started taking classes with them, I was like, I was good, but there were like, if you want to do more technical, like better spins, better stops, if you want to add any tricks and stuff like that, there were a few little technical things that you can learn as far as core control, as far as like how you hold your hand so that you can be led a little bit better, so that you're more sensitive to exactly what the person who's leading the dance is doing. So it's like those little tidbits I picked up from the last group that I danced with that kind of like, yeah, okay, great. This is a foundation where you can like add a lot of stuff because I already had the rhythm and, the breaks and all of that kind of stuff. But that definitely added to my dance repertoire, just getting those tips with that group. So I kept that up for as long as I could, but they actually left my side of town, moved to a different side of town. And with my daughter's schedule, I wasn't going to be able to continue to do that. And then like, God, it had to have been at least close to a year. Um, my daughter's dad would come and watch her for like 2 hours once a week. And I would take that time to go to dance class. And that was just like my me time. And then for whatever reason, he just stopped doing it. So I didn't have that help. And it was just a lot. I don't remember what happened. Who knows? That might have been when he ended up getting with his soon to be ex-wife. Who knows? So I kind of had to stop that. And then again, it's like I've been like dipping in and dipping out of dance. Now, probably okay. So when I joined the last group, I ended up joining some groups online, um, like Black women salsa dancing, Black women or Black women partner dance, this and that. So this would be like women who dance salsa, bachata, merengue, kizomba, Black women who dance. What's the other one? Well, like some cumbia, but cumbia is more of a like, it's not like anything, super technical or anything like that. But more so like the people who would be the most, the West Coast. There were some West Coast swing people in there too. I think it was just partner dance in general. I don't remember there being a lot of like step out people in that particular group. Lots and lots of women who dance salsa. And then probably the second most popular in that group was kizomba. And it was like hands down. Every week, some traumatized Black woman will be coming into the group distraught, just distraught at the racism and the colorism, completely distraught. oh my God, nobody will dance with me. And like, what's going on? The discrimination would be so blatant. And it was like every single time we're all chiming in and we're, we're talking it through these with these Black women and explaining to them the thing, trying to encourage them not to leave dance. Trying to give them tips on how to overcome the colorism and the racism, how to find your tribe, how to connect. But it was just like, I promise you, every single week there's some trauma. Like there was so many threads of this exact same feedback, and these would be Black women all across the country, all having this same experience. They get excited, or maybe they see salsa, they want to get involved, and they start doing it and they start going. And then once they go to a social or once they go to the club, then they're hit with the racism or the colorism, because it's like, first try to get the white girl, you can't get the white girl, try to get the mestiza, you can't get her, then you go down to the light skin, then you go to the brown. The very last is always dark skin 4C hair, always last picked. So it's like the most discrimination in the dance scene is dark skinned Black women with 4C hair that's natural, an afro or locks or anything that's natural. A lot of times and the crazy thing is, a lot of times these Black women are the best dancers. They are the best. And I know there's been plenty of times where it's like, I'll be looking, I'm like, that's what you want. And you know what I always think, like, y'all want mayonnaise. You don't want hot sauce. You don't want flavor. You don't want cinnamon. You don't want paprika. You want mayonnaise. That's what you want. You want mayonnaise on white bread. Because these girls be bad built, can't dance, stiff as a damn board, but they be so grateful. They be so grateful to be next to a white woman. That's all they care about. And it's just like, with all the new content that I'm processing and just like further advancing my understanding of exactly what's happening, it's like the dance world is such a microcosm of like the bigger world, right? The bigger issue of Black men. So for example, like, I know for me, how I have rationalized, or how my experience has been as far as an African American man who's actually qualified to even date me. Maybe like, obviously I'm into salsa, I'm into language, I'm into travel. I'm accomplished and educated, right? So that puts me in a certain class of people. And if there's a Black man who's also interested in cultural things and salsa and, language and traveling and things like that. Now, in a perfect world, we're really supposed to gravitate towards one another, right? And be together. But those guys are coming specifically to get access to white and white Latinas. They're not coming there to meet cultured, well-traveled Black women. They're not coming for that. You see what I'm saying? So I already know those guys are not for me. They're not here for me. They're here for somebody else. And that's not my unique experience. This has been the experience that I've observed being in Black women's networking dance groups for years. It's multiple women's experience, Black women's experience, that they'll be like the last picked, and towards the end, or as I just have grown to be more comfortable in my skin and my ability to give zero F's about people's personal choice. Like, if you want to be racist or colorist, that's your prerogative. And I kind of like low key didn't come here for that. And I'm just like going to find, I always like, if I am committed to having a good time, I'm going to be committed to have a good time. And I'm not going to, lose my shit because some colorist ass dude, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of my attitude about it, but still have compassion for these Black women who are not there yet. They're not there yet. They're like I promise you, traumatized. There's like these long threads all every other week of traumatized Black women coming into the dance scene and not knowing that, didn't know that they were going to be treated. And it's just so blatant because like there's difference between like microaggressions and racist things that you don't know about, but it's very obvious when you go somewhere, you have a beautiful shape, your melanin is popping, your afro is glistening, you're absolutely gorgeous, and you can dance. And the cardboard, bad built, stiff as a board ass, stringy haired white girls are the ones who don't even sit down because before they even finish effing up a dance with one guy, some other guy is clamoring to dance with them. And the beautiful Black women are being overlooked sometimes. So they're little, I guess what you would say, deviations from that. If like the Black women is the Black women are like an instructor, or if they have their own studio or something like that, or they're really, really good dancer, that can kind of overcome some of their it can kind of overcome um some of the like the just the regular treatment that you would get if you didn't have those things in your favor. But I guess that just kind of goes along the lines of Black women tend to be superior, like we are put in a position where we have to compete, where we're competitive with other races of women, and we're usually superior in many ways, right? When we compete head to head, we have to be better. When we get anything, we're usually better. We're usually way better at whatever it is. And it's no different in the dance world. It's absolutely no different. And it's irritating because it's like no matter what they do, it can be so mediocre, but because it's in white skin, it's considered, oh my gosh. I was looking for some videos to try to share with y'all and I couldn't quite find any. Um, I couldn't quite find what I was looking for. So maybe I'll do a part two, because maybe if I find the right videos of like mediocre white girls dancing, I will like archive it or something so I can like do a whole nother um, breakdown. But it'd be so many times where I see these mediocre girls, white girls dancing, and people are like, oh, look at that. Wow. And I'm just like, mayonnaise. Maybe I'm a dance snob. That's fine. That's fine. You can, maybe I'm a dance snob. Maybe, I don't know, but it be looking like mayonnaise to me. I like musicality. Salsa for me is not just about spinning and spinning and spinning and look at me, the gringo style. I actually feel the music. And that's what I like about, that's the cool thing about whenever you do dance with a non-colorist Black man, or a Black man who, or even like when I used to dance with a lot of Afro-Latino guys when I lived in the other city, there is something about Black people. There's something about Black people that when we dance, because this is our music, salsa is it's an African Black music form, right? So there's something about when we do it, it doesn't matter how long white people take classes or Asians or whoever, they're never going to dance the way we do. They're never going to dance the way we do. Never. And it's the same thing, I think, with the dance. So I've noticed that me as a Black woman, and there have been other Black women who have also recognized this about when Black people are good at dancing this for our art form and we dance together, the magic that happens and how fun it is and how it's not cumbersome to be on rhythm. And there's a spiritual aspect to things. And Black women notice that, they respect that, and they revere that. But with a lot of Black men, they don't care. Like they don't care that they're dancing with someone who's not matching their energy. They don't care. She has white skin and that makes it special. So they're having a very different experience than what we are having. And they're seeking something very different than what we're seeking. And they don't value what we value, because we do value that essence that happens. And for them, I think they could take it or leave it. They don't really care in mass. And it's specifically speaking about African American Black men who come into the salsa scene. Some Afro Latinos too, but especially African Americans. They're like, whatever. And I really feel that that's very reflective of our relating in other ways. You know, when you listen to what Black women who prefer Black men, and you hear what they're saying as far as like why they prefer it and da 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 da, and it's just like Black men, they don't get, like, a lot of them, they don't care. Like they don't. That's not, a motivating factor for them. If they can get a white skin, light skin, or preference, they're going to do it. If they feel they can, oftentimes, they will. So now, where I'm at today, I finally, I was like, you know what, I really want to go dancing. I think that, just understanding for my own personal self care, I really think that dance needs to be a bigger part of my everyday life, because it's something that brings me a lot of joy. I freaking love dancing. And so I was like, I'm going to get a nanny and I'm going to go out, got my girlfriends together, hired a nanny, and we had a night out and it was really cool. So this is I've never been to this place. It's a nice place downtown, and they have salsa on the weekends. And we get there, there's like some mixed, they look like they could have been Latino guys, and there was a couple Black guys. It was pretty mixed crowd, white guys, and there were some Latino guys who'd like come with their like girlfriends or wives or whatever. And then there was us. So I'm just kind of scoping out the scene. I like to kind of do that and see who's who can dance, what is the culture, like what's going on, how is this party gonna go? And we kind of chill a little bit, and then once I get more comfortable, because like one of my level up friends, she ended up talking to this guy who was from Mexico City, and he kind of had that Arab look, like that Southern Spanish look. You know what I'm saying? He kind of had that look going on. Him and his brother. Well, his brother came later. It was a white guy from Southern California and this Mexican guy from Mexico City. And so we kind of were going to hang out with him for the night because he bought all of our drinks. He bought all of our drinks. And they were cool. We were just, chatting it up with these guys. And so after, I think I danced with the white guy, and I don't know if I might have danced with the guy from Mexico City too. So then I was like, all right, I'm warmed up. And so I started to kind of make my way over to the dance floor. And nobody asked me to dance, same old, same old. But I have a really different attitude now. I'm like, I'm the one picking, right? Like I'm the one who's going to choose. I'm the one that's going to choose now. So I'm scoping out, who am I going to dance with? Because I came here to dance. I came here to have a good time. So I see this Latino guy over in the corner. He's probably Mexican. I don't know. And I was like, gave him this gesture like, hey, you want to dance? And he comes over to me, asks me for my hand to dance. We dance salsa, and then I tried to leave the dance floor. Then this other Latino guy wanted to dance with me. and I danced with him. And then I tried to leave, and then this other guy was like, "Oh, do you dance this?" I think it was a bachata, and I was like, "Okay." So I danced a bachata, and then he wanted to do merengue, and I was like, and then I was trying to leave, and then someone else, I was like, I was like, "I'll be right back." I'll be back, and I was just, it was hot, y'all. It was hot. This is like a rooftop, and it is hot out here. And I needed to sit down and have a glass of champagne. Like, this was a lot going on. So I'm chilling. And so it's the two guys from Mexico City. Well, one was from Mexico City, and then this white guy from Southern California. And we're just sitting, we're having our drinks, we're chatting it up. That original Latino guy that I dance with, he comes over to to our little lounge area, reaches his hand over the guy from Mexico City to ask me for my hand to go back and dance with him. I'm thinking in my head, this guy has a lot of balls because he does not know anything about my situation over here. He doesn't know anything. And he just reaches over to invite me to dance. And I was like, because of the balls you had, I'm gonna go and dance with you. So so I go dance with him a couple more songs, and then this Latina girl, heavier set, she comes over. She's like, "Oh, you never come here. You're such a good dancer." I was like, "Oh, thank you." And we kind of like get this little audience going of people like watching us dance. And then I tried to sneak out of there real fast after that dance because I was hot, just super hot. And then I go back over to my section where I'm chilling with those guys and my friends, and another guy, Latino guy, comes over there and he's like, "You want to dance?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm tired." And and it just dawned on me that um life is a little bit what you make it. And I think it kind of sucks as Black women that we are not afforded, I don't know the word I'm looking for. There's something that we're not really afforded initially, just off the fact and the strength of just being a woman, period. But that there's something that we have to do extra um, to show either our desirability, or, I don't know if it's an invitation for men that you would be open to interfacing with them or spending time with them. Now, I started to take a picture of the Black guys there. The black guys that were there did not dance with any Black women. There was me, my friends, which we were kind of like tied up with this group of guys that we were with. But there were other Black women, and these Black women were pretty. They had beautiful shapes, and they were chilling in the mix too. You never saw any of the Black guys or the mixed guys dancing with any Black women, even to this, like, same thing. This is how my journey started over 15 years ago. Still the same situation. You only saw the Black guys dancing with white women or light skinned Latinas, whether they can dance or not. So, that's like still very much so a thing. But, yeah, did it feel good to be hounded by these guys? Yeah, it low key did. Because my have the tables turned, right? My have the tables turned. Now I'm the one turning dudes down, and I'm the one, telling them they gotta wait, take a number, wait on one until I get ready to deal with you, kind of a situation. But, the way I see it is just building up desirability um, in my own self and having confidence in my own self. and how I move, because I definitely have a different energy than I did when I first started out in my early 20s. I mean, I definitely have a different energy um about how I move, and my own confidence level, and creating that scarcity and being so unbothered and just like walking around like you're the stuff. Like you're the stuff. And having the attitude of I'm going to be the one to choose you if you're lucky. If you're lucky. And not having an attitude of pick me, pick me, pick me. And I think that's very much so an internal shift. It's an internal shift from going from a pick me, pick me, pick me to a I might pick you if you're lucky. If you're lucky. You might be lucky enough to get close enough to me to dance with me. Maybe. Possibly. And it's very much so a different attitude. I wonder if I can share. Let me see if I can share this screen, and I'm going to have to mute the music if it has music. I'm going to have to mute it because I don't want to get muted out because the music is. I want to try to show y'all some examples of mayonnaise. I couldn't find any good ones, but these will have to do. Let me see. Let me try to share screen. Can I share a window? Yeah. Okay, can y'all see that? Let me turn the volume down. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. I forgot to push. No, I don't need to share the audio. I'm not going to share the audio. Let me see if I could just play it. Okay, thank you. Okay, this is one of my favorite dancers. But look at this stiff shit. And this is supposed to be good. Look at this shit. What is this? What is she doing? She's supposed to be like a good dancer. You see this? This is what I'm talking about. And this is what they be clamoring after, in the club. Like she, with her white skin, she would never sit down because all the black men and the mestizo and the indigenous dark skinned Latino guys would want to dance with her, no matter how she could be just no booty, don't looking crazy, stiff. They don't care. This is what they want. This is what they want. All right, let me see if I can find another one that I pulled up. Okay, that's him with the black lady. Let me see. All right, look at this shit. Let me turn the thing down. Look at this. Exactly. Bland, like they be wanting mayonnaise. They want mayonnaise. That's what they want. They don't want no flavor in their life. They don't want no essence. They don't realize what they have. They don't realize the treasure that they have in the black woman. Well, they don't really have us because we're free agents, but they used to have us. And we gone now. Most of them, like many of us, are good. We gone. I know I shot the deuces, baby. Bye. I'll go where I'm appreciated, baby. But yeah, this what they be wanting. This bland, stiff ass shit. This lady would never sit down. Ooh, and she got a short skirt on. They get to be close to a white lady with some stringy hair. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves. All right, let's look at the same guy with the black woman. That's buffering. Why is the black lady? Why is this one buffering? Let me try to refresh it. Sorry, it's buffering, y'all. Man, the DJ was really hitting on. It was a good DJ when I went out last, because I really like classic salsa. I like classic salsa, classic bachata. I don't like, I like the old stuff, set from like the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. That's the kind of music I like. Oh man, I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not playing. Let me see, what is this right here? So the DJ was really good. I wouldn't mind going back there. So this is a black guy, not with a black woman. I'll just show you. Here he is with more white girls. That's Kizomba, so that don't count. That don't count. That's Kizomba. Oh, I'm sure that this is hilarious. Y'all want to see this woman attempt to do Afro Cuban dance? Or do y'all feel like laughing? Come on, let's see. Yeah, this white girl is attempting to do Afro Cuban dance. Attempting. What is this? Girl, if you don't stop, no ma'am. And this is the dance of his ancestors too. This is a dance of his ancestors, and he disgracing them right now. But if you tell me well-nourished, high-vibration black women are the highest level of womanhood, the body, the sensuality, and the spirit. The spirit, yes, absolutely. Like, I don't know what this is. It's just like the imitation. It's just, I don't, you need something extra to be able to do this. And they don't have it. They don't have what's necessary to do it. I guess everybody needs to go out and have a good time, but no. That's not it. That's not it right there. But you see that a lot. Like, that's what I would consider a mulatto mixed type of Cuban guy, leaning towards black, and a lot of times they will not be partnered with black women. They prefer mayonnaise. That's what they prefer. Mayonnaise. That's what they want. Oh, Dios mío. Let me see what's on Instagram. Let me see what's on Instagram. I might dip into the salsa group and just see where things are today, because I haven't been in there in a few years. If y'all not already, oh, look at this. This was funny right here. I saw this one earlier. This one is funny. She really thinks she's doing something too. Look at her. Look at her, y'all. She thinks she really doing something. That's what they be wanting though. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Do, 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 do. That's what y'all be seeing, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. This is what the scene is when you go out. This is the scene right here. That's what they be doing. I'm gonna see if I can find another. Oh, and I wanted to show y'all that same guy dancing with a black woman too, just to see the difference. That woman is kind of like mulatta or something. She's not, I don't know what she is. She's not really black though. She is not black. She got a tan. Oh, y'all, this is what they be liking right here. But this is the best of the best right here. Like, this is their best. This is the best of their women. Um, like if you see the professional black salsa dancers, you'd be like, what? This is the best they have to offer. This is the caliber that's the best. This right here. Better than some, but still stiff. Better than some. Better than the others I showed y'all. Uh, I wanted to. I'm gonna go back to that other video and see if it's loaded. The one with that same guy dancing with a black woman. So we can see the difference. I wanted to. Yeah, it's like when I want to show something, now I can't find any of the videos that I really want to watch. Oh, why is this the only one that's buffering? Why? Y'all see how all the other ones was working? And then that one's buffering. Why? YouTube, y'all have been very mean to me lately because they're blocking my my subscriptions. They're block. Oh, here it is right here. Not showing me what I want to see and showing me a bunch of crap I don't want to see. It buffers because black women are too much to handle. Right? Dark and lovely. Girl, you right. All that melanin and essence is buffering. YouTube say, I can't handle it. Yep, it's still buffering. Gosh, YouTube, y'all making me so mad. Y'all are making me so mad. Has anybody experienced any of this in the dance scene? Anybody in the chat? Let me know if you have. Let me see if I can find a different one of him, since this one is buffering so much. Because I'm plugged into my box. I'm not using the Wi-Fi. We can try this one. You can see the difference. And it would be so much better if I could show you, if I could play the music, but I would get flagged if I did for copyright. But if you could hear the music, it would make so much more sense. um how she dances with the music and not just spinning around and but just these are some of my favorite dancers. She's really good. And this isn't even like their best dancing, but this is still superior to every him dancing with those other females. Cuz you know, you can't duplicate this with the black woman. You can't duplicate. She can't. She just. We can't be duplicated. Like it is only in us. It's only in us. See how beautiful she is? She's a good dancer. But yeah, y'all, that's been my experience through the years. And what I can say now is that, I mean, it really does help to not care. I think that that's probably the biggest, um, what would you say? Like, I think it's the biggest game changer when when you no longer care about being chosen and you're not limiting yourself to a group of men who have already established that they don't want you. Just accepting what is about that, like just accepting what is about it and then moving on to a different situation and then also being committed to whatever it is that you're doing. Because I know that was a game changer. I went to one country and I did face some discrimination there. Um, Being a black woman, it was a Latin country. And I remember going back like years later and I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to go have a good time. And I'm not going to let anybody's ignorance get in my way. And so we ended up going to this club at this casino, and the guy didn't want to let us in. This is a black man. He's black. He's Latino, but he's black, and he doesn't want to let me and my friend in. Now, my friend is Latina and black. She's a black Latina. She's a black Spanish speaking woman, but she is darker than me. And me, who's black and I'm African American, and this guy doesn't want to let us in. And I'm telling her, you talk to him. This is your country. She's like, no, you talk to him. You're not from here. He's more likely to let you in than me because you're American. So then she sends me to talk to him. And I have to talk my way into this club. I had to shame this black man and use every trick in the book. And he let me and my friend in, through just talking. But if I was in my old way, I would have just like, oh, this guy's being an asshole, let's go home. And I would have ruined my whole night. It would have ruined my whole night. But because he's going to be ignorant until he dies, probably. He's going to hate his own skin. He had an S curl, y'all. He had an S curl on his hair, trying to be mixed or something. I don't know. And he's going to die just like that. 9 times out of 10. So do I want this ignorant ass dude to ruin my night? Or do I want to push him to the side so that I can go into this club and dance with my friend? And I will go with the latter. So I need to whoop, say whatever I need to say to you so you can get out of my way and I can get in here and have a good time with my friend. And I just think like that attitude and going on and moving forward with that kind of attitude has allowed me to navigate the racism and the color. Yes, an S curl. It has allowed me to navigate the racism and the colorism. Because there is colorism hierarchy and featureism hierarchy as well. And women who wear afros will tell you. The women who have afros and twist outs and natural hairstyles, they will tell you that it's worse with the texturism, the featureism, the colorism, it's all very prevalent in the dance world. And how women are chosen, it's not based off of beauty. I guess we have different standards of beauty. Because I know I most certainly have my standard of beauty. And these guys have a different standard of beauty. And it just, for me, it doesn't add up, but whatever. You know, I guess you're going to have your own standard of beauty, whatever. And if that means that I dance with Latino guys or white guys, that's fine. You know, because some of the Latino guys dance pretty good. I haven't really met any white guys that are super good dancers. I knew one back in the second to the last city I lived in. He was pretty good. He used to challenge me. You know, like they're technically good. A lot of them are good on technical, but they don't still have the essence. You know what I'm saying? It gets lost with the melanin. The less melanin, the less essence. But as far as just getting out there and having a good time, I guess this is just the world we're given. This is just the situation that we're in, and we have to just navigate things the best that we can. And continue to be, go to a situation where you're going to be respected and you get to do what you want to do, and not letting these colorist or racist guys ruin your night, ruin your day, or ruin whatever you are. I think it can be applied to other situations. You know, it can be applied to the greater world and how you navigate men and the confidence level and stuff like that. Because I just do see that where people don't want to value and recognize us as Black women until they see something, you know, until it's so blatant that they can't ignore us, you know. And then that's when I think we have to pull back and then let them chase us. Once they get it, pull back and let them chase you. Because that's most certainly what I did the other night. I was getting chased all around that club by different men of different races. And one thing that I'm really proud of is that this white guy, the white guy that we were sitting and having the drinks with the Mexican guys, he asked me, he was like, "Can you teach me how to salsa?" And I was like, "Nope." He was like, "What?" I was like, "No." I was willing to sit there and like chat him up with my drink, but I wasn't about to do no salsa lesson. This is the thing. He was like, he had this look on his face like he couldn't believe I wouldn't jump at the opportunity of giving him a salsa lesson. This is the thing, Bob. I did not come here to be a teacher. And plus, nothing that I do is free. So even if I were to give you a salsa lesson, I would charge you. Okay? So I didn't come here to work. I'm not working. And I didn't come here to give out a lesson. I came to have fun. So if you don't know how to dance, tonight is not the night that I'm going to teach you, nor is any night. I didn't come here for that. He just had this look on my face like, I can't believe she said no. But I most certainly did. And I was proud of myself for that too. You know, as a reformed codependent, saying no to someone to their face when they really want something from you, you have to pat yourself on the back when you do stuff like that. Like, nope, I'm enjoying my drink. I'm enjoying the vibe. I don't want to give a lesson right now. I'm having a good time and you're not about to kill my vibe. I will sit here and chat you up, but I'm not going to give you a lesson. And I just had to acknowledge the ease in which I said no. It felt really good. Technically, yeah, right. So, selfish love. When I was talking earlier about the technical dance, yeah, they be technically good, but they don't have a lot of flavor. But I think that's just where we are as Black women. We have to Um, I think we just kind of have to take whatever we can get from a situation and make it work for us, so that we're not just on hold, or we're not just waiting around for anybody who's already expressed that they're not interested or they're not going to pursue us. So we have to open it up, because I think, you can still make do. Um you can still, experience so much outside, because there's other things that's more important, like a man who actually pursues you, and a man who's going to invest into you, and that's going to appreciate you. That is worth a lot. That's worth more than just blackness. Blackness is not enough. Like, oh, you're okay, you're black, but what else? What else? Like, okay, and that doesn't qualify you for a position. So that helps put things into perspective when you're out here and you're just dealing with the variety of guys. And yeah, they should be competing. They should compete for your attention. They should. They should be vying for your attention. So that internal shift inside of you is so important, um, when it comes to getting out there and mingling and interfacing with different races of men. Um, the internal, it's just super, super crucial to cultivate that confidence and appreciating yourself and knowing your worth, really feeling it, having fun and doing what you want to do. At the end of the day, be mission driven in your day to day, be mission driven in your year to year, be mission driven, and you'll know who is supportive of it and who's not, and what is in alignment with your mission and what's not. And I know plenty of times I'll have the mission to be at least have a good dancing experience. Oh my gosh. But I promise you, y'all, if I would have taken pictures like I started to, like I thought about it, those pictures could have been on Who They Really Choose, of the women that those guys, like the who you can really get, might be the better, who they can really get might be the better, what do you call it, title for that. Yes, mission driven. Beautiful. All right, ladies. That was a little bit all over the place, but I just wanted to kind of share my experience, in the dance world. And if anybody comes across this video, um, for Black women to know that they're not alone, and that if they do like dancing, I hope that they don't give up on it, because it can be like, there's been a lot of Black women who come in and they get out. They get out of the salsa scene because of the reasons that I explained. And I would encourage you to keep dancing. If you love dancing, don't stop. Don't let these colorist guys or racist guys push you out of something that you want to do. You just got to stay in there, and you're going to find a way. So it's really good if you can find a studio or a club to dance with, because then you'll meet a little group of people who dance, and guys and stuff. So you'll always have somebody to dance with. So, definitely don't, that's one strategy to get around it. Um, and then another strategy to get around it is to kind of position yourself where you can kind of get a lay of the land, and you can kind of see the dance floor or who's hovering around the dance floor. And you can find a guy who is kind of feeling the music, but he also doesn't have anybody to dance with. So you can just wave and kind of give a little smile so that he'll know that he can ask you to dance. So you don't have to, be so, caught up in the rejection when, and I think, like, if you're not in the scene, it's hard to explain, But it's like if you're sitting down and then there's this like lily white girl who's just coming in. A lot of times they'll have on sneakers and shorts and just don't even look like they even are ready to dance. And you'll have on dance shoes specifically for dance, be be dressed beautifully and look nice, and then they'll come over and reach for the white girl. Now, it don't get no more obvious than that. And that feels very crushing for many Black women. And that's when they come to the groups distraught. And I've had those feelings before 2 years ago. Now I don't give a shit, but I used to have those feelings like, oh my God. And I think part of the confusion is that that value system that we have that's not shared. We don't have a shared value system with Black men. We don't have one. And I think that we assume we do. And that's the initial shock. You're initially shocked when you realize that you don't share the same value system as them. And so then you have to process through all of that and understand, why are they choosing mayonnaise? Why are they preferring the mayonnaise? What is going on? And so that is a process for Black women a lot of times in the dance world, to process through why they prefer mayonnaise and to find your footing and to find how you're going to make it work for you. But isn't that what we always do as Black women, right? Isn't that what we're always doing? We're constantly adapting and enduring and surviving and finding a way to thrive and maneuver very challenging situations and still finding a way to shine and still finding a way to be beautiful and still finding a way to flourish, right? Isn't that the story of our lives as Black women? And it's no different in the dance world. So if there are any women, this will stay up. So if there are any women, Black women, who have experienced this in the dance world, please don't stop dancing because of this. Please don't stop dancing because of colorism and racism. Please find a way to make it work for you. Try different clubs, try different socials, try different groups, find the best one, find where you're going to be the most welcomed. But don't give up. If you love dancing, please don't give up on it. Please don't. Because if that's something that you want to do to express yourself, you should do it. You should do it. I appreciate you. And if dance is your passion, if dance is how you express yourself, do it, girl. Do it. I appreciate you. I love you. I recognize your uniqueness. Remember that you're worthy. You belong. You are valuable. You are appreciated. You are extremely lovable, and you were born lovable, and you were born with everything that you need inside of you to be lovable. Everything inside of you, you were born with it. You were born worthy, and abundance is your birthright. All right, my lovelies, y'all have a great night, and we'll talk soon. Peace and love.